Good morning. Today is 15 December 2025. This is the brief. Denver police drones as a first responder pilot program. Kind of scary. The story. Denver Police Department quietly launched a pilot program in mid-October 2025 using Skydio drones as first responders to 911 calls with drones, launching from headquarters and arriving on scene before officers in over 80% of the cases. They have responded to hundreds of calls, including burglaries and assaults, often serving as the sole response, while continuously recording video amidst plans for a separate flock safety drone system tied to controversial license plate readers. Now, why is this important to preppers? Expanding police drone surveillance signals a shift towards pervasive, warrantless aerial monitoring of public and private spaces, potentially eroding privacy in everyday life and setting precedents for broader government overreach during crisis, where such technology could be repurposed for tracking movements, enforcing quarantines, or monitoring descent in unstable scenarios. Now, why is this? What can we do locally? Installing privacy window films or outdoor curtains to block low-altitude drone views into homes. Use anti-drone netting or camouflage over outdoor storages and gardens. Join or form local privacy advocacy groups to attend city council meetings and push for drone regulations, and practice OPSEC by varying routes and using encrypted communications to minimize digital and visual footprints in daily activities. The next story is privacy and transparency concerns in Denver's drone program. Apparently, there's a little bit of a problem with it. The story. Privacy advocates, city council members, and oversight groups criticize the Denver police for launching the drone pilot without public input or full disclosure, especially the no-cost contract with Flock Safety, a company already facing scrutiny for data sharing with federal agencies, highlighting risks of continuous recording, capturing unaware residents near windows and balconies, as revealed in the December 2025 reports. Why is this important to preppers? Lack of transparency in deploying surveillance tech illustrates how authorities can implement monitoring tools. Lost my place. Here we go. Can implement monitoring tools unilaterally, which in a grid down or martial law situation can enable mass tracking without accountability, making it harder for individuals to maintain autonomy or avoid targeted enforcement during supply shortages or civil unrest. Now, what preppers can do locally. Monitor police and council agendas for surveillance proposals and recognize community petitions or attendance at public hearings. Build Faraday cages for electronics to block potential tracking signals, stock visual obscurities like smoke generators or emergency privacy shielding, and network with like-minded neighbors to establish mutual watch systems that alert to drone activity using simple signals or apps. Take a sip of this. All right, the next story. Record job layoffs across U.S. industries. The story is simple. Over 1.1 million Americans faced layoffs in 2025. This is the highest since the COVID pandemic, with experts attributing it to cost-cutting and economic shifts, highlighted in December 15 economic reports. Why it's important to preppers: widespread unemployment exacerbates economic fragility, potentially leading to supply chain breakdowns, inflation spikes, and social services strains. While preppers recognize this as precursors to scarcity and a potential looting or migrant pressures. What preppers can do locally. Build a 3-month emergency fund in cash and barterable goods like tools or skills. Organize community skill sharing co-ops for trades like gardening or repair to reduce dependency on jobs. And stockpile non-perishable foods and hygiene items to weather personal financial downturns without relying on aid lines. All right, this next one is kind of interesting. I was not even aware of this situation happening. Private equity infiltrating volunteer fire departments. If you know about this story or you have seen this, let us know in the comments. The story: private equity firms are acquiring software and management systems for volunteer fire departments across the U.S., raising concerns about profit-driven delays in emergency responses, as detailed in a December investigative report. Why is this important to preppers? The corporatization of essential skills like firefighting could slow response times during floods or fires, leaving communities more vulnerable to disasters during extreme weather and emergencies, as well as underfunded public infrastructure. What preppers can do about this locally: form or join volunteer fire auxiliaries to supplement official services, invest in personal fire suppression tools like extinguishers and fire blankets for home and vehicle safety, and advocate at town halls for transparent funding, while creating neighborhood fire watch patrols with basic training from local fire departments. And last but not least, we definitely need to talk about this: Brown University mass shooting. Now the story. A gunman opened fire on the Brown University campus in Providence, Rhode Island, killing at least 2 people and injuring 9 others on December 13th, with authorities releasing a person of interest on December 14th, while the suspect remains at large, promoting an ongoing manhunt and campus lockdown. Why is this important to preppers? Mass shootings highlight the unpredictability of civil unrest, and active shooter scenarios in everyday public spaces underscore the need for personal defense strategies amid rising gun violence in the U.S., which could escalate into broader societal instability. Now, what preppers can do about this locally: conduct active shooter drills with family or community groups, stock a personal defense kit with both lethal and non-lethal options like pepper spray and a concealed carry permit if applicable, and map out multiple evacuation routes from local schools and public buildings while building situational awareness through local news monitoring. Okay, guys, that was the brief. Thanks for hanging out with me. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up on the way out the door. If you're not subscribed, make sure that you do so now. If you want to contribute to the channel, there is a link in the description. Stay vigilant.